is brought to you by Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another road edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We're at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and look who's back. It's
Good to
Jeff
be here, yeah.
Defo DeForest on the road again. I'm not going to start singing like Willie Nelson.
Please. It's great to be back. It really is. I mean, I've been very envious. It could cut into.
He's not
That's
dying.
appropriate.
I meant.
You sound like my doctors.
Hope that's not an omen.
No, that was a joke.
That's
He's doing well.
that's the
He's doing
bugler at the
very
track
well.
right there. That you opened up with. No, good to be back with you guys. I've been watching you guys shovel food in your faces. I was just talking to my good buddy Jersey Kyle, a big fan of the show, and he was saying that do you always have to eat bore you even say a word on this program, which is usually a common practice. But great to be back with you guys, and I want a place to start out my return here at Batch, which is one of my favorites.
I don't always have to eat, but sometimes I do have to drink and take a sip before we start.
No,
the festivities.
that would be more than acceptable. In fact, several cocktails before the show begins.
Oh man, he made that strong. So
They did make it a little strong.
this water is especially strong too, and there's no surcharge or anything.
Is it strong? Is it very cold because of the ice too? Are you going to go on Let's Eat South Florida?
Well,
140,000
I asked
now.
for a lemon and a half, and they only brought a lemon.
I was gonna say they give
So
me.
There were
the
I'll
pits in
never
the
come
lemon,
back here
and then
again.
I sucked the lemon pit through my
Yeah.
straw, and I almost choked. My blood is boiling.
They're on the phone with Morgan and Morgan, right after having a glass of water.
Oh man! Well, we are at.
How you
Batch.
doing, you guys? Are you doing
I'm
all right?
doing good. Here we go.
I
I'm
saw
gonna
Lubie
get
the
us-
other night, a spectacular evening
We
last
had a lot of
Friday.
fun. Mayo was invited that,
So-
but he was a busy man that day.
Oh, Mayo
So
was a
tell
no-show?
me
That
what
was a- he
happened.
went to
That
the
was
Tiki
a
Tiki.
bamboo beach tiki, like a
Reunion.
gathering, a
Yeah,
reunion.
A little reunion party.
What exactly happened? And when Visser Mama was there, Leslie Visser.
She orchestrated the whole
arranged
thing.
it.
Yeah,
Now I feel especially bad about missing it.
That's
I
why
know
I
you
invited
told
you.
me
I
about
she
it.
invited
was
you.
insulted. She told us not to tell
It's
you.
the second time I've stood her up because there was that music, that concert down at UM one time where you guys invited
Oh
me.
yeah, that was great. See
And-
Christian McBride.
and the bride, too.
I hope she doesn't
Wow.
get a complex. Leslie
You know who was
Visser.
there? One of your contemporaries in the sports writing business, big jazz fan, Steve Wine of the Associated Press was there.
What, and on Friday night?
No,
no,
on the
the-
Christian McBride
Oh,
concert.
the Christian
Yeah.
McBride concert. Steve Wine, one of the greats. He
Cool guy,
could
yeah.
pound out copy clean and crisp and hit deadline. A Heat game wasn't over, but 30 seconds and his lead was
Yeah.
already on. The topper
You're
was there.
schwitzing and slaving over
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing and eating meatballs while you're doing it that you got from
Steve
the press
Wine.
room.
Very big. He used to cover tennis internationally.
He was a
for
good
the
player. I
Associated
used to
Press.
play with him a lot over at Shula's.
He got sent
in
to all
Miami
the
Lakes.
slams. He was their lead tennis writer.
I
for a
remember
while.
when he said, "Hey, I'm going to the Australian Open," which that was a first for him. He covered most of the other ones, and he did a great job. And I don't know. I don't think he's still involved, but he may be. I mean, all of us end up making a comeback of some sort.
Well, that is good. Comebacks are good. I'm glad that you guys had a good time. Where was I last Friday? I know I had
You had a
alternate
busy
plans.
Where were you yesterday and the day
You
before?
did go.
Do you
I actually
remember? I
remember
don't
for some
know.
reason.
Yesterday, I remember
Well, no,
because
that one,
we've heard from
yeah.
a lot of people. We're not gonna. I'm
the
gonna do some
postscript.
fan feedback tomorrow because I did hear from all kinds of people. But I just do want to say this right now. I deny that anything ever happened yesterday. In fact, it was actually
Yeah.
all AI, computer
There
generated,
you
deep fake. So
Makes sense.
what you thought you saw yesterday was actually not occurring. Right, Lubie?
Yes.
You
I
guys kept
remember
your
that at all.
composure. I mean, it wouldn't be easy. I think
I
Andy came down there
misremember.
with a specific idea in mind, and he was cut off by the bodyguard. But he said you guys did a good job.
So, look, I have no. People say you should be ashamed of yourself. You lost respect. You
I
made a
received
mistake.
several comments to that effect, and I wasn't even there. So.
I also heard from other people who thought it was refreshing and interesting, and even though they also, like me, don't agree or find some of what he's done and said abhorrent, that it's still okay to talk to people and listen to them, and you don't have to put any credibility in things
So,
he has to say. But
I mean, we'll
he
do this
did have
tomorrow,
some
I guess.
interesting things to say about pizza and food and
Yeah.
whatever. But
All right, save it for tomorrow.
We'll
We'll talk about this
yeah.
tomorrow.
Keep the
We'll talk about this
people,
tomorrow.
intrigued
meanwhile,
about
let's.
how you're going to wiggle your way out of this one.
There's no way. It is what it is.
I did write a rebuttal to somebody's comment on the Let's Eat group on the.
You should have had
stream.
Reno write all of the rebuttals.
Yeah,
Reno Sabone.
Reno's actually friendly with him.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what's funny.
Reno might be politically aligned with.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
is he?
Stone,
I don't know.
but
Do you
that's
think he is? I
okay.
don't
We
think
won't
he
hold
is.
it against Reno.
It's but it was to me without getting to the feedback. You know my favorite part yesterday though, and these are the little details.
How many
that-
pizzas did you eat?
These are the
He ate
little.
a lot. He actually.
First of
No,
all,
yours-
Roger Stone's
No, Mayo
pizza,
was
his
good
preferred
yesterday.
pizza is sausage. We got a nice sausage pizza for him.
That
I
makes
got
some sense.
my
Yeah.
little tomato.
It's a nice. Pizza.
You don't want
I
to
like
see
it.
how the sausage is made.
Yeah, I
That's
like
my
sausage.
other
Sausage is a good
saying.
piece.
It's what type of sausage?
I got the little tomato pie, which you love so
yeah,
much.
well, it's
It came
good,
out
but
great.
it seems
It's not good. It has no
seems
taste, and I
ridiculous.
don't understand it
Don't
at all.
tell me that you didn't like it. Okay.
I didn't even eat it yesterday.
Andy,
I
well, you know
they
what?
do such a great job with the actual pizzas that
Fine.
Fakakta pizza.
Not your
I
style.
have no
That's
interest in.
fine. But don't say it has no taste. It has great taste.
It tastes like tomato,
And then
tomato
Andy
soup
Man
on
got
the
a
pie.
small meatball,
which
and
was
that,
great.
He said it was great.
That was great.
It was great. The pizza, Wade and Reese doing tremendous.
So by the way,
work,
Andy
as
Man,
you
who
should.
went down there wanting to get into a physical altercation, just said you did. He was there in person watching this whole thing. You did a great job, and he again is aligned with us very strongly politically. You did a great job yesterday, Mike. You walked the tightrope exceptionally well, which is what I thought we were trying to do. I don't know.
All right. Look, all I know is I'm glad that Andy didn't lose respect for me. That's
It is what it is.
Oh no, he lost respect for
I
you
was gonna
before
say,
he
has
came
he
down.
ever
That was a long
respect
time ago.
for us?
when he see me.
He was
give away
there
all-
like 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, "I can't believe Mayo's doing this. What happened?"
But no, my favorite moment yesterday was he has this bodyguard with him because he is in physical.
What kind of size? Are we
danger.
talking Vito size?
He's shorter,
No,
but
I'm
thick.
talking
He looks like a
about,
line, like a mix between a linebacker and an offensive lineman. Like he's
Looks
shorter,
like a guy who might
but
have
he's
been in
jacked.
the armed
like a
forces,
military dude, like
you
a
know.
Marine dude.
Was it like that MMA guy that you fought in the studio, Jeff
Monson
Monson?
like,
Yeah?
but bigger. He was bigger and
slight
shorter.
of build, but big muscles, and I'm sure he.
I'm sure he was very
he
easy
was
to
ready-
reason with. Also,
the
He was
no,
actually
we-
a nice guy.
Nice guy, yeah.
We met him beforehand, but the thing
He's
was,
a nice guy.
in the middle during one of the breaks, this guy, like Roger, you know how me and I have my little 3-year-old plate of all the scraps and things,
oh yeah.
and I had one
Did
of
they
those
make a
in front
comment
of
about
me.
that?
No,
No,
but
he's very
Roger
nice guy.
had the similar thing where he didn't eat all his crust, and there was like some little. It looked a
He
little
was weird
bit
with crust.
messy.
He didn't eat crust.
He didn't eat the crust, and then
Well, how can
his-
he be a pizza
his-
connoisseur if he
his-
doesn't eat the
Yeah,
crust?
that's what's weird. I actually know
bodyguard
nothing about it.
came over and actually like
credibility
kind of
gone.
cleared the plate away from him,
Yes.
like without even Roger saying anything. It's like
So he's also a waiter and a maitre d'.
he's no, but
Honestly, he's like an assistant.
Roger's a fastidious guy, and you could tell like just the fact that was the little details that you get by actually seeing a person up close. That
Yeah.
maybe you don't like the person or respect him, but I just like, okay, this is a guy that he even has somebody that comes and clears his scraps
Yeah.
and crumbs away from him.
I don't know
All
what
right.
to do with that.
Was you
Whatever.
kind of make a return visit to the show, or
I
you
No,
not really-
I
it's
would
not going to be a
plan
recurring
not. I
thing.
would
It's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers
I would
on
plan not.
what's that Pat McAfee
Yeah.
show. I'm
Yeah.
not paying the guy. I'm not giving him an open mic.
I tell you what was awkward. When I was friends with Jim Leyritz and used to see him all the time, and I had him on shows as a baseball expert, and then he got in that incident which you covered, I guess, in great detail, and it was awkward having him on shows after that, and I've eventually just had to capitulate to popular demand and say. Forget about it. Let's wait till this clears up and then see what happens. But
yeah,
and even the Yankees wouldn't have him, coming back to affairs that they
it's
had
a
involving
difficult
those teams.
thing.
Yeah.
Of at what point do you
Thank
say
you. Thank you so
okay,
much.
the person has served his
Oh,
time?
look at you guys.
If they've done
Wow.
something terrible in the past. These are topics for another day. I wanted to just get into it. We've got Kevin Danilo here.
Is that
He
the jambalaya?
the founder, and he got food. We've got
Oh, look at this.
the
Wow.
craft signature cocktails. I've got
Does Lubie
the
get mac and cheese at every
blackberry-
restaurant, by the way?
blackberry bourbon lemonade. What's that? What was the question? He's got mac and cheese.
He's got mac and cheese, at every restaurant, I think.
Well, I think he sometimes has the. He just likes mac and cheese, and it's darn good here. So why not? He looks
Yeah.
like we've got a
So that's our
special kind here.
Cajun chicken pasta.
Oh, like I said, not
Yeah,
mac
exactly.
and cheese.
It's the Cajun chicken pasta.
the
You
first
recognize that right away. That was good.
So funny story that that's
welcome
actually
back.
our shrimp and grits when you have fingers after 2 cups of coffee.
Oh, yeah. Look
so
at that.
so what it was supposed to be will be out in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. So this was kind of the mistake fire.
That was the
yeah, and then but it looks great, and this is something I have not had before.
Look at
We've
this salad
had
on
some
purpose.
mac and cheese. You've got
Cobb
the
salad looks
Southern
great.
Cobb
Yeah,
salad with
looks great.
the grilled chicken. We've got a jambalaya here loaded with shrimp. And we've got something that I almost ordered when I came here last week. Instead, I went healthy last week. I had some fish. I had some salmon. This is the, what do you call this? The pork
ribeye.
Pork ribeye. And look at this
That looks
beautiful
great.
plate.
Yeah,
Again,
wow.
we got that sweet potato
Pork
mash
ribeye.
and the red cabbage, right?
Correct.
Braised red cabbage, which goes perfectly with the pork. So this looks beautiful and luscious. And welcome back to the Lunchbox, Kevin Danilo. It is always great to be back here at Batch.
Always.
How are you?
I'm a top fan. I don't know if you know this. I'm a top fan of the Lunchbox and Let's Eat South Florida.
Did you see that we've now surpassed 140,000 on the Let's Eat group, which is kind of absolutely crazy. And I'm hoping that, people in the group who have not been out here to Batch, you really got to get down here. I posted something earlier this week that featured something that maybe you wouldn't necessarily associate with Southern food, but that Dirty South burger I had last week. And that was dirty in the best ways, Defo.
I think you have to try this pork ribeye, Michael, right here on the show, because that looks amazing.
While I do
It really
that,
does. It
I'm
smells
going
good,
to
too.
let Kevin talk about the burgers here. And is that a big seller, that Dirty South? And what, again, is on it?
So the Dirty South, it's a premium blend, short rib chuck and brisket. We use our cheese sauce on it. We do a bacon bourbon jam and caramelized onions.
And the fire and ice pickles.
Fire and ice pickles,
which is always intriguing. And I can you describe to the folks? It's become a thing. I've seen it on a lot more menus, particularly at like Southern cuisine places. What's a fire and ice pickle?
So it's just a spicy pickle. It's got some nice seasoning to it, some traditional flavors that's going to leave you with some heat. It doesn't linger too long. So, when people come in and say, hey, I don't like too spicy, generally it doesn't hit them. We actually had a conversation, you and I, couple days ago about Nashville hot chicken sandwiches.
Right. Well, because some people, when they hear hot, they want their mouth on fire. They want like really, really spicy, like you get at some of the places in Nashville. I think it's like Hattie G's and Bolton's. And
sure.
When you say spicy there, it's like you better bring more than just 1 cup of water. You better bring
a fire extinguisher. Yeah, for sure.
And yours,
mild,
good, tasty, but as the professor, our friend who is big into Southern cuisine, and when he came out, said it was a little bit mild. Yeah.
Yep. So South Florida's tough. People seasoning in South Florida sometimes don't get along.
Have more salt.
Yeah. It's
either too salty, not salty enough, too much spice, not spicy enough. You can't please anybody.
Sure.
Sometimes.
So when we spoke, it was funny. You had mentioned it, and we love feedback. We're here to serve our guests, and at the end of the day, I'd rather have my guest happy than what I like. I personally love super spicy food, but what was interesting when we chatted, you said, well, what if you had a different version of it? A lot of the books I've read said unreasonable hospitality and different things of taking care of people with things that aren't on the menu. So we've kind of been working on something behind the scenes of, hey, you want to feel it tomorrow morning?
Okay,
we got you. So
we're gonna get that for the professor.
Coming to a batch near you soon.
Now, what I appreciate about you guys here, besides having such great, the craft cocktails and the scratch-made kitchen, the great food, is that you guys are amenable to hearing about feedback and taking notes from know-it-all critics and regular guests. And my only thing with that was, it was a little bit mild. And then how about having 2 versions of the sandwich, like a mild sandwich for the timid Fort Lauderdale crowd? Not to knock Fort Lauderdale, but yeah, I'm kind of knocking some of the flavors. Some of the taste buds down here are a little bit more on the, how would you call it, Defo? The vanilla side, like you like your vanilla with the beans?
I wouldn't call it the same thing. Vanilla ice cream, of course, can be delicious.
Yes.
But,
and so can mild chicken sandwiches.
But I mean, the flavors, even just represented on the table here, and you got a wide variety of dishes.
But
always great.
But what what I suggest and what I think they're going to do is going to have 2 versions. One, a mild sandwich, and then one, when you say spicy, it's going
Are they going to call it the Mayo? That would be your second Mayo sandwich.
They were going to call it.
If we do, they have to do the Mike Mayo Big Bite with an entire chicken thigh.
See, everybody loves it. You've gotten away from this.
Yeah. See, you can't call sandwiches a Mayo sandwich because then they think it comes slathered in Duke's Mayo.
Let's call it the Mike.
Yeah, well, you call it the 3-alarm,
the double M
sandwich.
Yeah.
But I'm taking some photos here of this great food. I'm about to dive in. Hold on a second.
All right, yeah. And now what was this one? It wasn't the jambalaya.
The jambalaya.
It is.
That
the
is a
jam-
jambalaya.
Shrimp
Okay.
and grits is coming out.
Okay.
All right, let me get. First, I'm going to have a little bite of just the plain. So this pork, you call it a pork ribeye, but it's boneless, right? It's
Sure.
and any kind of special rubs, seasonings on the outside.
Yep. So we use our house blended seasoning. What's interesting about it is it's actually got the way that you inject a turkey. They actually take some of the fat and re-inject it into the tenderloin. So
So it's
when
a brining
cooks,
or
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's super juicy.
It
It's
certainly is juicy.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the braised red cabbage. Is this also like a fried onion on the outside?
Apple.
Apple. I didn't taste it yet.
Wow.
Pork chop, applesauce, braised cabbage. So you got the sweet, you got the savory. The pork itself is beautiful, juicy, and I do like that rub on the outside.
Would you
It's
get
a winning
Lubie,
dish.
a plate there? I mean, this guy needs to get going. Yeah.
That's a winning dish, and that fits the whole Southern
look at
hospitality
this.
vibe here. That apple is nice. Here's
Oh,
shrimp
wow.
and grits for the man.
That's beautiful. Oh, there you go. Lubie's got that working.
What do you think? Going to get close to 199 by June 17th?
No, you don't have a shot there. He's got a challenge here. He's going to get under 200, which if he's bowling, he probably does under 200. But on the weight, I think, you put the weight in, in reference to yesterday's show, much like Donald Trump said he was 215.
Yeah, I will be 199.
Yeah. You're 199 now, according
Yeah.
to those.
I'm
statistics.
185.
Yeah.
Mike, there's a fantastic diet that I learned about 10 years ago. It's
Okay.
called opening up a restaurant. And if you do it, I think the worse you do at it, the better the diet works.
Right.
But you don't sleep, you don't eat, and you just drink coffee all day.
And
So-
you run around a lot on
Yeah,
your
so
feet.
if you're interested in it, I can
I
lay
might-
it out for you.
I might fill out an application soon.
I
might
think you need to do
that.
some, service stuff in a restaurant. Maybe have you ever waited tables?
So I have
You've
worked
avoided that. Yeah.
in restaurants, but usually behind the counter. I was a deli counter person for about
Okay, kind
3
of like
minutes.
Mickey Rourke was in The Wrestler.
and right. I basically worked at it was a kosher deli in Harvard Square in Boston when I was going to school, finishing up, and it was Alan Dershowitz, who must be one of your favorites now, is a obviously famous law professor from Harvard.
He
one of-
wasn't on the show yesterday.
No, he was
All right.
one of the investors of this deli, and it was called Maven's Kosher Court. And I'll never forget that they had a grand opening night, and I was there, and I just was careless because it was crowded, and I looked up for a second as I was slicing turkey for a sandwich, and boom, off came the tip of my thumb.
Oh no, that was the end of that
And
career.
I will
yeah.
never forget my famous last words in the business. Don't bleed on my sandwich.
I was thinking maybe Kevin, give you a little education in what it's like to be on the other side of things, and have you serve some tables for a night, or at least follow somebody around in training, and then you would have that experience about what happens.
I've done a couple of those charity events where you're a server at the
Oh, yeah?
breakfasts for various charities around town.
Would you be open to that, Kevin? I mean,
Yeah,
could
what
we
are your credentials?
turn Mayo into a waiter?
My credentials
They're very
are-
limited. I would have to say.
I'm very good at taking notes,
Yeah,
so I could punch
You're
in
not
the
using our
orders.
slicer back there.
No,
Yeah.
keep me away from the slicer. I think I might be better as a greeter, kind of maybe a schmoozer or a host, although certainly not. Well, you know what? That's not going to work.
You're too
these
grumpy,
days
yeah.
anyway. Yeah. All right, maybe stick me in the back of the house, far from the crowds, and I'll I'll just be the secret shopper and come in and dine and give notes. The shrimp and grits look fantastic.
Yeah.
The jambalaya looks fantastic.
That really looks good.
Everything
Yeah.
here, everything that I've eaten here has been top-notch quality.
Thank you.
And I want more and more people to come out here because I think this whole area, when we go out to certain areas, and it's even though there's a lot of different restaurants and in competition, they bring out a big crowd and everybody checks out every place. That's what I want to see happen down here in this little hub. You've got all kinds of different restaurants within a stone's throw, and I just think I think more people should come down, avail themselves of the parking situation, come on out, 525 North Federal Highway. And again, you've got what's going on this weekend. This week you've got music as usual.
Yeah, so we do live music Wednesday through Friday for happy hour. We always do a great whiskey Wednesday. Rare whiskeys available, our proprietary barrels available. Tonight's a special night, so we are doing a Buffalo Trace barrel selection event.
Ooh,
Super
nice.
cool. So we tie in with local charities and different foundations. So tonight we're actually pairing with we might lose some followers here. The Gator Club, the alumni of the Gators, they're coming in, and well, anybody can participate, but the proceeds from the raffle tickets to participate in this are going to scholarships for kids going to UF,
beautiful.
kids in need. So real cool. So we'll have that barrel being picked tonight by 8 lucky people that participated in the raffle. It's a lot of fun. The Sazerac team comes in, educates them, we give them some gifts, and then the barrel ends in about 90 days.
The Sazerac team. Now, that's something I could join.
You would
be
like
part
that
of.
one. So Sazerac is one of our best partners. They're phenomenal. They're the guys behind Pappy Van Winkle and Blanton's, Eagle Rare, and Buffalo Trace is one of their products. So we'll be picking that barrel tonight. The barrel will probably land in unit in about 3 months. And then any bottle that we sell retail, 100% of those proceeds go to the Scholarship Foundation. So
Sounds like a worthwhile
always doing
thing.
good things.
That's
Kevin.
starting tonight at what time again?
So that's 6:30. That's just going to be 8 people coming. But after that, we have the Fort Lauderdale Whiskey Society coming. And so they'll be at 7 p.m. It's an open event. Anybody's welcome to attend. It's $20 to get in. 4 different whiskey vendors are going to be by. 2 of my personal favorites, which are Coppercraft and Magnus. They're out of Michigan. And then Whistle Pig, who everybody obviously loves. They're fantastic. So they'll be there pouring off a ton of samples. So you just come by, and we have a huge food spread. So usually we get about 100, 150 people coming by, chatting whiskey, having a good time. So it's always a great event. Those guys that run that are fantastic. They
Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm enjoying a little bit of bourbon right now. This is one of your signature drinks here on the menu. It's called the Blackberry Bourbon Lemonade. Is it a big seller? Because it's like a blackberry lemonade with Buffalo Trace bourbon, and it's really refreshing. I mean, people usually think of lemonade and vodka or gin, but it totally works with the bourbon, I think. So, and that's kind of how is the bar program doing here in terms of you guys always, you have your house infused spirits and things like that. Are you always tinkering and maybe coming up with some new specials and things?
Yeah, we like to play around. We like to stay consistent with our menu. You know, our big statement is, we try to be garden glass. So fresh squeezed juices. We do our own cold brew in house. The syrup that's in there is a blackberry cardamom syrup that we make weekly. It's buy a bunch of blackberries, we emulsify them, use some cracked cardamom pobs, and then we turn it into this blackberry bourbon lemonade. So we do one-offs. We recently made a pretty cool barrel-aged coffee Manhattan. If you guys want to try it, I can pour you a sample of it. It's pretty cool. So it's got a nice little coffee flavor finish that's not overpowering. It's a play on a drink called a Revolver. Pretty cool. I'll bring out some samples to you guys to give a try. But yeah, we're always trying to do little features here and there, little food features, new desserts, just so people that are coming in a couple times a week can always try new things.
And I am now digging into this jambalaya, which just looks chock full of action. Is this the real andouille sausage?
That's andouille.
That is like freaking awesome. And when I took a bite of this, when we had our little opening month event, and I was sitting next to
you got the chow splatter going again. I mean, Kevin, have you ever seen a guy like this? I mean, and then talk at the same time.
But the flavors in this jambalaya, it's just
you haven't tried it yet.
No, but the other night when
you did. Okay.
Well, I mean, think about it. You got 3 animals in there. You got shrimp. You got pigs. You got chicken. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff in there.
You got 4 animals now with my snout going into it.
One thing that comes up a lot on Let's Eat South Florida is, and I'm a big fan of salads. Where can I get a good salad, right? And you have about 6 different choices. And this is a fantastic Cobb salad, by the way.
Thank you.
Really, really well done. So. I mean, this is something that you may not consider. You drive by or you read the menu and you're thinking Southern food. But, if there is that person in the group or you're looking for a great salad yourself, definitely a destination of choice, I would think.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when we designed the menu and the concept behind New Southern was you don't need to go out in a wheelbarrow. You got fried chicken if you want it. We got
Speak
banana
for yourself,
pudding.
I do.
We got one out back. But it's funny, when we opened up in West Palm in 2018, some of our most loyal guests were vegetarian and vegan. Which just riddle me that in a Southern concept. It's because we did barbecue jackfruit. We had a really great Impossible Burger,
fried green tomatoes. Right?
Yeah, we did a bunch of things that were rooted in Southern cuisine and in Southern techniques, but just some flips on ingredients, and it really appealed to people that probably hadn't got to try some of these flavors in past iterations of recipes. So yeah, we always try to cater to a wide demographic, and everybody's welcome at Batch. And then that's, we just want to be the friendly neighborhood place to go for good bite, good craft beers, whiskey, craft cocktails.
And you take your greens and vegetables seriously. And Defo might find this hard to believe, but when I was in here last week having
Don't
dinner
tell me
with
you had a
Valerie,
salad?
we started. One of the items we had was the Southern Cobb salad.
Very good.
With
Big chunks of blue
with
cheese
shrimp,
too. I mean, unbelievable.
It was some shrimp.
Not something where you need a magnifying glass to see the blue cheese.
No,
chunks,
no,
yeah.
it's good. Now, I've got to pay you guys special compliments because I've now had shrimp on 3 different items in the last week. The Cobb salad last week for dinner, the shrimp and grits, and the jambalaya. I don't know who or how you trained your people to cook shrimp, but it is perfect because so many times you go out and they're cooked, they're overcooked, they're rubbery. These are like juicy and plump, and they still have some flavor. I mean, they still have these are perfectly cooked shrimp.
Awesome. I'll let the guys know. Yeah, we have a great team back there. It's everybody, our cultures, work hard, play hard. We really try to take care of our people. This industry's tough.
Yeah.
You go to some of these message boards about food in South Florida, and
I wouldn't know about anything about that.
And it's tough. It's a tough business, and what goes on behind the scenes to make sure great food goes out consistently. And we have an amazing team back there. Both from an execution standpoint and from the research and development standpoint. I mean, you don't just go on a shelf and pick the first shrimp. You go through 10 different versions of it, sizes, cook times. I mean, so much goes into it to make sure you get that recipe right. And then, like you said, it's only half the battle, and then you got to do it, every day, all day, and make sure you get it right. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're just laughing at the Mayo etiquette because he went from putting a little on his plate to now just shoveling it right.
Even though I
out of the
still
dish.
have some on my plate,
right,
which makes no sense. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to get like down in it because it's got this great liquid. Like sometimes, again, jambalaya, some people have it. It's a little bit more on the drier side.
But the idea is not to take the fork you were eating with, while you're sharing this with Lubie and others, and stick it right in there.
So we can put a little line of demarcation, kind of like, among warring
it's a shot
factions.
thing now.
We have borders. So if you go in on this side, which is untouched, what do you think about this, Kevin?
Well,
He
so,
always hammers me all the time.
So-
Well,
here's-
because there's no etiquette there. It's just for a food critic to be that kind of slob. I mean,
When we were kids and we would eat, worms and play in the
Yeah.
dirt, I never got sick.
I think it's good
I think
to-
he's trying to give us natural immunities, and
I guarantee you that Lubie will be in, the other half, the untouched half.
you're like a dog who marks his territory. You kind of are.
This
when it
is
comes
the
to food,
Mayo
yeah.
space, okay? And this is the
Yeah, all right,
Lubie
yeah.
side, and this can be the Defo portion.
I had a
if he
serious
wants.
restaurant issue, though. I wanted to get Kevin's opinion on because I have such great respect for him. I was reading about this. It was page 2 in my New York Post. And I don't know if this is applicable to Florida because seldom did they get involved in anything that might, be you would consider it to be an ordinary issue. And they usually deal with it in a different fashion. But there's this whole big thing going on. I don't know if it's happening down here about paying servers minimum wage. And the restaurateurs in New York are saying, well, we'll go out of business. We'll have to fire people. And, they're using the offset thing about the tips compensate for the minimum wage that they're not paying guys or servers. What's your feeling about that? I mean, I don't know what their laws are in Florida, but everybody's looking for minimum wage to be paid, where they're paying people, I guess, $10 an hour as opposed to like 14 or 15.
yeah,
How do you feel about that?
Loaded question.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
Thanks,
just in general,
He's got to go. He's really busy.
No,
Well, let me.
people handle it?
I'll interject for a second just to kind of give some background. In Florida, there's 2 minimum wages. One is the minimum wage for hourly workers, and then there's what's also called the tipped minimum wage. And the tipped minimum wage, I believe, is up to like $7.98 an hour now.
About $10.
$10 an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is
So-
in New York.
So we're on the
And
way
are
up
you
to
required
15.
to offset to get to what the actual minimum wage if they don't make
Correct.
enough in tips? That you do have to boost them up to the actual required minimum wage, which is now $12 or $13 an hour.
13. It's on its way to 15.
Eventually, by
So-
2026.
Correct.
Yeah, I think this past January it just went to $13 an hour.
Yeah. Do you think that would be damaging, though, to the restaurant industry? Or
So it started on the West Coast, and obviously when I read about it, it started. I think it was in Oregon. It was either Oregon, Washington, or California, which was the first state to do it, and the rise to 15. And it's pretty scary. And a bunch of restaurants did go out.
oh yeah, wow.
We were a little more fortunate. we were ahead of the curve. We had seen other states go through it, and at the end of the day, the people of Florida voted for it, right? And so it's
actually it's going to happen here.
Yeah,
right?
it was voted for during COVID. It passed, I think, by about 1%, if I'm not mistaken. It was pretty close, but it voted for $15 an hour minimum wage, and it is what it is. And it's great that people can make living wages. We've never had people at minimum wage anyways. We're already paying our dishwashers $15 an hour, so it doesn't impact as much. What does matter is as the weight pay for staff members goes up. It's a razor thin margin business. Everybody thinks that restaurants make a ton of money and they're rolling in it, and it couldn't be further from the truth. It's a volume play. It's a margin game. So where we're at is the reality is when you increase wages and ingredient costs, everybody goes to Publix and you see your ground beef is now $7 a pound instead of $3.
Right.
It's got to get passed along. So to be able to do the same things that we used to do, insurance is up. Menu prices go up, and we're the most expensive we've ever been. We were proud of the fact that we had a $14 burger for the first 8 years we were open, and now we're at $15.50. So things happen. You do need to adapt and change, but you roll with it. Good businesses should always survive and adapt. And
but in terms of servers and tipped employees, again, the minimum wage and the tip minimum, there's still two different ones. They are guaranteed getting that minimum wage, but the reality is most of them will make lots more in tips so that the restaurant is still going to be paying the tip minimum wage to them.
It's about a $3 offset.
Yeah.
So which they have to make it up in tips. Otherwise, we have to cover that portion, which,
right. Well, hopefully people are tipping enough to
easily.
make it up, right?
It never becomes
Otherwise, nobody would be a server.
So when I came up in this business and I worked in New York, it was $2.13 an hour as a tipped employee, right? And that's if
I
your
remember
employer
getting
even
$2
paid
an hour in
right?
California.
The employers half the times they didn't even pay you. And
it was actually like a bonus because we would get paid every 2 weeks. I think we were getting $2 an hour. This is in the mid 70s, so
but it was all cash tips then. Everybody would
we were making plenty of money. I mean, we were killing it. And when you got the $120 or whatever it was every 2 weeks, it was like money to go to the track with. It was almost like found cash. So it was great.
The reality is this: there's a labor market. There's, again, supply and demand. And if there's enough supply out there, people, there will be servers to serve you. And if they do a good job, they're going to get tipped. And if something else comes along, like during COVID, and all of a sudden there were no restaurant jobs because all the restaurants were closed for the in-house dining, and then people went off and went to work for Amazon and all these other places, and then things swing back, and then eventually restaurants open again. They need people, so they'll start paying people a little bit more to entice them to get back in. It's called capitalism, folks. Supply and demand.
It'll figure itself out, right? I mean, some restaurants won't survive, some will. The ones that survive are busier, and it's that constant, never-ending, ebbs and flows of small business.
And the ones that should survive are the ones that do a good job with food and drink and hospitality.
And anywhere I ever worked, it would have never been a factor.
Fits the bill. And you've got four of the Bash locations. This is the one that you're focusing on now in Fort Lauderdale, because I think a lot of people just don't know about it. They drive past and they don't realize what a hidden gem it is hiding in plain sight, I think.
Yeah, it's our newest location, opened up right after COVID. So, obviously that's challenging times.
What do you have there,
challenging
Mike
to get the doors open.
All right, let the record reflect that I unfurled a new setup, and this is a clean fork going into this bowl. This is the chicken pasta with mushrooms.
The shovel approach is
I'm doing the shovel approach now. Now, is this the
same?
same?
You have little shovels in a bucket?
This is like a cavatappi that you call it. Is this the same shape of pasta that you use in your mac and cheese? It is. So that's why I was confused and called it mac and cheese. My apologies to everybody who's offended by such things.
Well, it's mac and there's cheese. So
put that fork in there, right? Because I didn't touch it yet.
Community fork.
Community fork.
Lubie is giving me the directions. He's the producer.
He's been a food critic for years. He's been doing the show for over 2 years now.
Get a little
and we still have to train him how to eat. I mean, it's amazing.
Are you amused? Because I am, and I take it every day. Like
to get like a volunteer inspector to come by, right? And it's like a UN inspector that comes in and makes sure that you're following all food safety regulations.
You want me to wear gloves too, Defo?
Be good, yeah. I'm used to it now.
That's
Everybody
a very
got rubber gloves on.
Very fine. You call this one it's kind of a chicken pasta, or
Cajun chicken pasta.
Cajun chicken pasta.
Looks
It's
great.
got a little bit of that cream. What do you call the sauce? It's like
It's
a
got bechamel.
bechamel. It's nice. It's creamy, but not too heavy. And the chicken and the mushrooms is always a winning combo. So again, another job well done. I'm going to go around and on my old scale, which is not going to 5 stars, 4 stars in the old
Oh, I thought you
newspaper
were going to get on a
business.
scale.
4 stars for the jambalaya, 4 stars for the shrimp and grits, 4 stars for the pork. We call that the pork ribeye with the beautiful braised cabbage. And that, 3.5 stars on that one. So pretty good.
Awesome.
Pretty good
Glad
stuff.
you enjoyed it, boys.
Yeah. We'll let you get back to work. We're going to take a break. This is the Lunchbox. We're at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap in Fort Lauderdale. And they're open 7 days a week here. They have brunch on Saturday and Sundays with the bottomless cocktail options, which is always great. And live music Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tonight is special Whiskey Wednesday night with all kinds of goings on. The Fort Lauderdale Whiskey Society and a special batch of what's going to be the Buffalo. I'm sorry, the
Gator Club Buffalo Trace.
Gator Club Buffalo Trace.
Scout Gators.
Let's go Gators.
That's all I can say.
This just triggered something. Before we take our break, I want to say a word of really was shocked and saddened to hear this week talking about Gators and Seminoles. When I was a sports writer, it's a long time ago, one of the people I had a pleasure of working with a lot in press boxes, a regular guy who was on the scene, a columnist for then the Tampa Tribune, then eventually the St. Pete Times, Tampa Bay Times, Martin Fennelly. I don't know if you know that guy. You've never met him.
I don't think so.
He passed suddenly this week at age 65 of a heart attack. It was awful. Martin was one of the brightest, funniest, greatest guys. He was always just a tremendous writer, a tremendous presence, one of the nicest guys in the world, and just one of the funniest guys. And one of his quirks was didn't matter where he was, what city, what he was covering, he would always wear shorts, kind of like you, Defo.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I'm here.
So when you said Gators and Knowles, we did a lot of college football games.
Can you blow a little taps for him, Lubie, with the sound effect machine? Yeah.
But
anyway.
Rest in peace, Martin Fennelly, one of the greats, sports writer in the Tampa Bay area for more than, I'm going to say 30 years. Rest in peace. All right, that's it.
Nice tribute there.
Thank you. I'm out of my mind.
You're so far gone. It's incredible.
Kevin, I hope we'll still.
Kevin, thank you, man. It was a delicious all the way around.
I get a little verklempt sometimes, but
You are out of sorts today.
it's hard when
I think it's an offshoot of
views.
Yesterday and some of the comments.
That's
But you're going to get into that tomorrow.
All right, all tomorrow. All right, we'll be back with more on the Lunchbox from Batch in Fort Lauderdale after these words. Food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food and a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. For Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. And, of course, my mouth is full. I see Defo is chomping on his Southern Cobb salad.
Sounds good,
chicken.
yeah.
How's the chicken? It looks nice and
very well done. I mean, perfectly. I don't mean well done as overcooked, but I mean perfectly done. Nice seasoning.
juicy.
You know where I was yesterday when I had to attend this business meeting? That they really did a great job. I didn't get a chance. He wasn't working. I guess, does Chris Nealon have like a son or a relative that works there? At Aruba.
At Aruba Beach
and
Cafe?
wow, I had a chicken quesadilla, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And what I liked about it too,
Chris is there. If yesterday was actually
I don't think he was there.
one of
yeah.
his days off.
I asked to see him, and
he's usually on Wednesday through Sunday. Yeah,
all right.
so.
Well, I missed him yesterday, but one thing I liked, and it just doesn't often
There's a
happen
lot to like
in
there.
restaurants.
Just tell Peggy to call me back.
Well, I was
we
going
know.
to say that when I took half of it to go. A couple of people also shared a piece, so it was plenty. Portion-wise, it was fantastic. And the waiter actually said, "Do you want like someone? You had guacamole, you had the salsa, and of course the sour cream, and that had kind of gotten smushed around a little bit with the different people that were trying it." And he actually gave me like 3 new ones.
Oh, wow.
As part of, and he asked me specifically, do you want any of the sort of sides that come along with it? The accoutrements or whatever.
Accoutrements,
And,
yes. Good work.
And sure enough, he put them in there, and that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like those touches.
I mean, and the fact that he asked, I thought was really representing some excellent
Good
customer service. Yes,
That's what you like to see.
yeah.
And how many times when something like that happens do people go on to
Yeah,
Let's
then
Eat
go and talk
and
about
write
that.
about that?
Exactly.
And so
0.0 that would be.
I
'Cause
want
it's a good
to
thing.
give special praise to the person, the waiter who showed that.
Did a great job.
Again, people are more likely to complain about some nonsense
It's
than
funny too.
to praise a job
Yeah,
well
praise
done.
good. Yeah,
but
try.
that's just the nature, human nature.
Guy comes to the table and we had 5 people all together, and I don't know why, and maybe they didn't want to look like they were a bunch of drunken slobs at a business meeting, but 3 guys came, early. I was there with 2 other guys, and I'm having a water because I can't drink right now, and the other 2 guys order like a water and an iced tea, and then the other 2 gentlemen show up, and they also have a water and an iced tea, and I looked at the waiter. I said, don't worry. I mean, this isn't a party of stiffs.
I was gonna say, is it
Yeah,
like,
but I mean that's always a scary thing. I mean, nobody's drinking.
Well,
it's
at
crazy.
lunchtime, and this, you know what? Let's talk about this because I know obviously servers like serving alcoholic
Yeah, that's
beverages.
where you
'cause
make
it's-
money.
Some places they run. Everybody's having water.
well, the worst is
But
when
this-
you have like the iced tea and water, and they want extra lemon because
This
those
guy
lemons
didn't
cost
flinch.
money.
He didn't flinch.
But yeah, at lunchtime, it is, very common. America has become in a lot of ways, reverting to its puritanical roots. A lot of teetotalers
Yeah, a
out
little
there.
worried about that.
Yeah.
Not me.
That
You
wouldn't be
saw
my
me
strategy.
yesterday. I was down in a beer with my pizza. I'm
We have
down
this.
a
This is
little
fantastic.
blackberry lemonade with the beautiful Buffalo Trace bourbon.
Where were you?
here.
Pizza
Oh
spot.
yeah, on the pizza.
He got a beer. Yeah, he gets a beer.
Oh, he had a beer.
I had
Yeah.
a beer
I
before.
was thinking,
noon.
where are you drinking like that?
Yeah, he
where-
gets a beer. They have
Yeah,
They have a nice beer.
It's Peroni, a nice Italian light beer, light lager to go along with that great New Haven Abitz. That was beautiful. Hey, we just had the spot for Tropical Acres, and I had a chance to talk to Jack Studiali this morning. I
How's he
wanted to
doing?
see
Oh,
he's
Valentine's.
doing great, but
Yeah.
I wanted to see where we were at. Is there still availability for Valentine's Day? And the answer is yes.
Oh yeah,
But you
Nice.
better get a move on it because it is exactly 2 weeks away. February 14th falls on a Wednesday, and he still has space on the books. They are equipped to deal with big crowds there at Tropical Acres because that's what they do best. Some of the
Reach
big
across
special
you.
occasions and holidays,
Brutal.
serve 1,000, 1,200 covers. They do that without flinching. I think Valentine's Day, it's going to be the normal hours. They open the place at about 4:30, happy hour in the bar. Then the dining room. I don't know if they're going to have the early bird that night, but they will be seating couples and foursomes.
Now is that
Have you ever
fashionable to
heard-
go for the bird on Valentine's Day?
I think that's
Or
maybe
does that
a
make you
move.
look like maybe you ought to ditch this guy?
And the thing is, they do have a special Valentine's Day menu that he has just put the finishing touches on. So call him up and get a reservation. Now, here's the weird thing. Most restaurants, it's nothing but 2 tops on Valentine's Day, right?
romantic
Yeah.
and whatnot.
I got a call from my cousin who's going to be coming down. He has a condo in Aventura. He was saying, "Oh, where should I go?
So he's coming up.
We wanted to come. Yeah, well,
Oh,
he's
coming down from the
coming
north.
down from New York,
Okay.
Long Island, and him and his wife are going to be here. Says, you got any place we can go on 14th, Valentine's Day? I was like, that's like
Acres.
brutal.
Yeah.
I called up Jack, and then meanwhile,
You got right in.
got right in. Not only that,
Oh.
my friend has another couple they're going to be down here with, so it's going to actually be a
Oh, nice.
foursome
Oh,
for
wow.
Valentine's
Double
Day.
dating on Valentine's
Two
Day.
double-
That can get tricky.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but if you're a long-term relationship, I mean,
yeah.
it's
You
not
know,
like dating.
when you've been married that long, you're like, yeah, that's all
whatever.
right.
Just
Yeah.
hang out.
So it's going to be a
Bring your
four-top,
boyfriend,
but
and
he got
I'll bring
right
my
in.
girlfriend.
Bring your
All times available. Give them a call, 954-989-2500 to get yourself on the books for Valentine's Day. Better yet, just go in there.
Now, where are
this
you? Where are
weekend.
you heading for Valentine's Day? You already? I mean, and with Val, no
I am
less.
going to be picking up one of those great. Thank you. If we can do a twofer on Live Spots, Delaware Chicken and Seafood.
Oh, yeah.
Farm.
There you go.
Stone
for,
crabs?
for me, Valentine's Day is just like New
Okay,
Year's
when you go to
Eve.
Delaware, you don't ask for, hey, I just want to say hello to Jose. I
No.
want to say my best to Gene.
I
Like when
don't-
you
I
go,
don't-
you just go as
I go
100%
in
a
as
shopper.
me. I go in as a schlub. I order my stuff, and
Hey, how's
Del-
Doug doing?
Yeah,
that's right. Doug Cover. I
haven't
texted
seen him
that
for
I
a
was
while.
coming.
Is he here? Yeah.
So Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. I've been going there for over 30 years. It's been there for over 60 years. It's at 4191 North State Road 7. And Valentine's Day is one of the days that I stay in
Yeah.
and prepare my own dinner. I think I
Nice.
might get one of their special Valentine's packs.
You're cooking?
which is going to be a stone crab and some fresh
The shrimp. The shrimp was really
cocktail.
nice. The shrimp was really nice.
So you don't have to do any cooking if you don't want to. That goes along with the dessert package. But I think I am going to throw in a nice ribeye steak once I'm there and do a little cooking on the grill.
How's your grill technique? Good.
I am an expert griller. I call myself the grill meister. I am excellent when it comes to
you've
steaks and
tasted
chops.
Mayo made grill?
I haven't, but I can vouch for Defo's great at grilling, and I'm really good at grilling.
Okay, well, we found
day we'll
something
have
in
to do a
common.
I cook
something-
everything on the highest possible heat.
Yeah, but it works out really well. I
It
learned
does.
to
I
do
mean,
Well,
that.
I do
it's quick and
500
easy.
500 degrees searing, but
You can bring it
depending on the thickness of the steak, the cut. Usually for a nice ribeye, if it's thick cut, I do about 5 minutes and then 4 minutes. So like
Oh, good for
9
you. You're
minutes.
more scientific. I just
You actually
9
time
minutes.
it?
I just eyeball
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's almost
Oh,
done.
I time it,
Okay.
and then you do it by
I just
feel.
eyeball it. Yeah,
The
yeah.
feel, like when you feel like if
Oh,
you have
it's a
this
Mayo.
part.
So
You
Mayo
put your
has like
hand
a
all over it?
temperature, and he does a.
Now I don't do
the
a temperature
thermometer
probe
and
because
the
you don't
whole
want to
thing.
stick anything into
Yeah, that's my thing. Is I
the
don't like doing
meat. That makes all the juices flow out.
Yep,
You want to
yep,
kind
yep.
of just touch it a little bit, and you feel like if it's like halfway like this, that means it's nice medium rare. If it's all the way like this, that means it's well done.
I wouldn't put my hand on the grill if I were you.
Well, it's hot, and you flip it over, you kill all the
Now,
germs.
what's your feeling about
Then I
beer
go with
can
the
chicken?
fork.
Are
I
you
just-
inclined to ever make a beer can chicken? And if you do you do it in the oven or on the grill?
I have not mastered the beer can chicken technique.
Which, by the way, is a great thing.
That's
I mean, when you
Defo's
do it.
specialty.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure you could get all the chickens you
Oh, yeah,
need
for sure.
in
Oh,
any
that would
kind
be the
of
place to get them.
variety
Yeah.
that you need it for your beer can chicken, for your smoked chicken, for your grilled chicken. Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. DelawareChicken.com is the website for all the weekly specials and daily offerings.
Hey,
All
have
right.
you ever seen beer can chicken on a menu in a restaurant?
No, I
Well,
never. heard of it
why
until you.
wouldn't some places actually institute
the Kevin
an
menu,
item like that? Because I mean it does taste especially moist.
Do you kill?
The outside is always like you would like it, a little crispy.
Yeah, crispy. You can
and the the spices, whatever you put on it or in it, they blend in perfectly because of the way that it's being cooked.
Would you consider that like a southern dish?
I was gonna say, if it was
I
Southern
would
Eat-
think so. It sounds like
So
I was
one.
gonna say,
we're
reach
gonna
out
give-
to Kevin.
yeah.
I
We're
feel
going to
like
give the
he'd be
note to
open
Kevin.
it.
We'll say, how about, if you're
feel like
looking
he'd be
for
open to it.
new
I wonder.
seasonal
I mean,
items,
yeah. I mean, it wouldn't take necessarily.
nothing says summer
Any
like
long-
beer can chicken.
No, beer can chicken is fantastic, and even left over, just it sort of keeps its moisture and the flavor.
Not very
a lot-
pleasant for
lot
the
more.
chicken, though. To have
Have
that
a beer
kind of
can
stuff
shoved up your rear
is,
end,
None of this is pleasant for the
It's not really that bad. I mean, you get to stand and everything. It doesn't look unmerciful. That's for sure. Plus, the chicken doesn't know anymore. Awareness factor of the chicken is zero at that point.
And once I'm doing rapid fire live spots, we're going to wrap up today by
Well, I was gonna say-
wrapping up with Rappaport's
Yeah.
restaurant group.
Yep,
We
yep.
love Bert and his fine restaurants, Deck 84 for the waterfront intercoastal dining in Delray Beach, along with Bert and Max's, a little bit inland there with our good buddy Buddha, the general manager. Max's Grill down at Meisner Park. It's been there since Meisner Park opened. Unbelievable. Like 30.
They have outdoor seating, all these places, and Deck 84 would be a spectacular today.
Great place to go, especially when the weather is pristine like this. And they've got all the comfort classics, handhelds, burgers, tacos, great new dishes being, designed by all the new innovative chefs that they have. Bert never satisfied to just rest on his laurels. Of course, they've got the Prezzo restaurants in Boca Raton and Palm Beach Gardens. Go check them out. Again, they have happy hour all day at all his locations from 11:30 on till 6:30 in the bar and the high top areas, along with all kinds of daily and weekly specials. Rappaport's restaurant group. All right. Anything else?
Legendary dude, man. I love Bert Rappaport.
No, he's a good
Absolutely
dude. They work
fantastic.
hard.
That whole thing with raffles and the stories he tells about the early days there,
Yep.
great. And to see, I always like when people are able to go ahead and have their success spiral into even greater success. And the way he's diversified his restaurants, the 4 that he's involved with now, a spectacular job. Much like Kevin. I mean, is there a more dedicated guy in his business
No,
than
and that's
Kevin?
the crazy part. I mean, like for Bert, just operating 5 restaurants for him is scaling back.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. Yeah.
But
I'm
and
surprised he doesn't bring In-N-Out Burger here while he's at it. I mean, the guy's doing everything in his restaurant business. It's amazing.
He's not a miracle worker. In and
Yeah.
out, still family owned, and they're sticking to their guns. They're not coming east of the Mississippi.
They had to
just
close
yet.
one in Oakland. Did you see that story?
I did not. What
Uh,
happened?
Too much crime.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
that's
geez.
unpleasant.
But very weird. I mean, here's
Yeah, that's
a
fair.
great
Okay.
establishment that the people, especially on the West Coast,
Yep,
think
yep,
they,
yep,
they
yep.
love it. I mean,
The
and,
old saying, "You don't spit where you eat." Like you would think, even in some neighborhoods,
very
you don't
sad development in the restaurant business.
you don't mess with the places that feed you and the neighborhood. So that is sad. Where were we? Oh, Rappaport's,
Yes.
and we are at Batch, and
Yes.
we're wrapping up today. I'm a shot fighter.
Well,
need
we
a
have
cut
another.
man.
What
we
happened
have
to you last night? You all right?
Yeah, well, yesterday was my mom. It would have been my mom's
Oh, okay.
91st
All right.
birthday, so
Understandable.
I got liquored up.
Oh, there you go.
That's it.
Well, we will
No.
take our second block of break here.
Oh,
and
we
then
didn't do that yet.
When we get back, we will wrap up today's edition.
I've
Defo's
lost-
returning edition.
I had a great time. I mean, watching Mayo eat, I
See-
missed it. I really did.
Did you?
Defo comes back, I get more flustered than when I'm sitting next to
we
Roger.
shake off
frickin'
yesterday's whatever that was and move on to happiness
I'm not
and
calling it a mistake.
great moments. No, I don't. I enjoyed what we did
I
actually.
called it an intriguing episode.
With Defo, the one and only Defo. People are sending their regards. They're very excited to have Defo back. He is back
Thank
in
you.
the fold
Thank you.
where he always belonged. And we'll be back here at Batch and Mike Mayo's Lunchbox after these words.
To me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Is 9089 West Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. For more than a decade, a top spot for lunch, weekend brunch, and dinner at the Delray Marketplace in West Delray. It's a family-friendly dining room in a comfortable setting with also an outdoor patio that's pet-friendly. American classics like chicken and waffles, brick oven pizzas, chopped salads, and of course, great burgers, including the famous Farmhouse Burger and the traditional Prime Burger. Open 7 days with happy hour at the bar and high tops from opening until 6:30. For reservations and more information, go to bertandmaxes.com. Great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting. Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and we're going to be wrapping up. And coming up, we're already going to be in February. It's a new month.
I can't believe
Shortest
it.
month.
1
Black
month down
History
already.
Month. We're going to go out, I think next month, we're going to pay a visit to the newly opened Licky Sticky
Yes,
Barbecue.
that's
Oh,
my
great.
old
Our
neck of
friend
the woods.
Chef Juliet out there in Sunrise, right next
Yeah,
to
right by my high
Piper
school.
High, right?
High
And
school.
That's
gonna be on the
Lubie's old
agenda.
alma mater.
That's my
And
stomping ground.
Going to be exciting also because we're going to have a visit to Tropical Acres
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
lined up
Wow.
February 27th. Again, they don't open for lunch, but they're going to open for us to come in and do a
I thought he was
show.
going to invite you on the 30th for a free lunch. Yeah.
February 30th. Every year I have a standing invite
Yeah.
on the
You know what?
at
Again,
Mar-a-Lago.
on Let's Eat South Florida, there was a picture. I think it was just on Facebook. It might have been an actual online ad, but a picture of the prime rib. And what's great is, things don't always look like the brochure. Like if you're talking about hotels in the
Right.
Keys, you get there and it's
Or a Whopper from
uninhabitable.
Burger King. Yeah.
But the prime rib there, as great and glorious as it looks in the picture, it's even better. I mean, it's
person.
incredible. Yeah.
Live and in person. It is not a deep fake. It is not AI generated.
It has to be.
real.
I mean, not even for the price. It has to be the best prime rib that you could get in South Florida. Any steakhouse or any restaurant.
It's definitely in my top 5,
Yeah.
regardless of price. Is that a word, irregardless, or just regardless?
Irregardless
Regardless
was
is a
not a word at one
Irregardless
time, but they
is not
made
a
it a
word.
word because everybody
many
screwed it
people
up all the
use it.
time.
People use it. It's
Yeah.
not a word. Regardless.
No, it is now a word officially.
It is.
Is that kind
Irregardless?
of like late
That's-
game? Was it
Resiliency.
Late game resiliency. No,
It
it's
used to
like
be just
explosivity.
resilience.
Explosivity. We've been making that word up about the
Explosivity.
Chiefs.
Let's make
Yeah.
that a new word.
Why
I think
not?
it should be a
People
word.
has made it a word.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Disgusts
people,
me.
you should.
But I got chastised by no less of an authority on being a wordsmith than Ed Pope.
Edwin.
When I first started working here at 940 back in 1982, I guess it was,
Mhm.
I had used the word irregardless a couple of times, and
Now-
Edwin
now-
Pope called me.
Jeff,
Yeah.
don't know where you were educated,
Who taught you English?
but
Yeah.
where we came from, there's no such thing as an irregardless. It's just regardless.
And he was right at the
Now,
time.
you
But,
could be irrespective,
yeah.
but there's no irregardless.
You got a pretty good Pope imitation. Yeah. I don't even know if people
Wait, I
did
have a
they
little-
remember the great
I
Eddie
have a little
Pope?
of that
I
white
know him. I
wine,
never
a
heard
little
him
of that
talk.
Chablis. That I remember
The
Edwin
Chablis. Yeah.
in the
Chris Chablis.
every year that we went to the Meadowlands for a Jets game. That was my favorite thing all year, just hanging out in the hotel lobby of the Sheraton at the Meadowlands
Nice.
with Edwin Pope, because the stories he would tell.
Very nice man. He was a real
Wait,
gentleman.
I'll just have a little more of that white wine.
He was one of the a handful of guys, maybe less than that, less than 5 guys that had been to every Super Bowl at one time.
Yes, it was him, Blackie Sherrod. It was the gang that they always got together. at
Yeah,
Augusta,
I
too.
think it was a couple of fans were involved in that too. But he'd been to every Super Bowl until he ultimately checked out, which I want to say was some time ago now.
Yeah, time is flying by, and we're waxing poetic about all these bygone sports columns.
Dead sports writers here
Dead
on the
Sports
Lunchbox.
Writers Society.
What it'll be tomorrow? You're having
Hey,
some
tomorrow we're
week.
going to be at Wicked Cheesesteaks,
Yeah.
and if I take a big bite of some cheesesteaks, I might be
Brian
latest one,
so
so-
generous. I mean, and came by and visited me in the hospital when I was in there for a few days.
Wasn't that a touching gesture? He was so good.
Very nice, yeah. No, and he knew everybody too. I mean, all of the nurses knew him, and
Yeah.
we were selling. We were pushing the lobster rolls to everybody. It was great.
Nice. Well, we'll be there tomorrow at Wicked Cheesesteaks, Pizza, and more on North Federal Highway there, right across from Holy Cross, south of Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. Until then, for Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Mike Mayo. And, of course, thanks to everybody, Kevin, and everybody here at Batch Fort Lauderdale. Till then, enjoy every sandwich.